talk about another aspect of modern neuroses. There was a study released by University College London last month that found that depression, which of course is intricately related to all this, is not caused by a chemical imbalance in the brain, specifically a deficiency of a chemical called serotonin. The authors of the study said, quote, "The serotonin theory of depression has been one of the most influential and extensively researched biological theories of the origins of depression. Our study shows that this view is not supported by scientific evidence. It also calls into question the basis for the use of antidepressants," unquote. Now, other experts have come out in defence of antidepressants, which do seem to work in some instances. But the important thing here is that Australians are turning to these antidepressants in record numbers. According to a report by the ABC this year, Australian consumption of antidepressants has doubled in 10 years, and we have the second highest rate of use in the OECD. Alexandra, what is making Australians so unhappy, and should they seek something other than pharmaceuticals to feel better?
Oh, I've actually got two answers to this question because I think there are two different groups of people who are depressed in Australia. First of all, we have ordinary people where it's almost entirely circumstantial, where something happens to you, particularly we saw with farmers and droughts, where their circumstance made them depressed. And once you become depressed, then your chemical balances can change. It's a reaction to your emotional state, not a cause of it. I mean, this has been obvious for decades. Now, in that kind of circumstance, giving people drugs is not going to solve the problem. I remember when the drought was on as a farmer myself, they were shipping in mental health advocates to these farmers when the farmers were saying, "Can you bring us feed and water?" That's what we actually require to make ourselves feel better. It's the same thing in society where people have got problems in their life and they're trying to solve them with medication. But I will say that I think the major cause of mental illness is actually this victimhood movement, which is propagandizing these children into thinking that they're sick. They trick themselves into mental illnesses. And after you pretend for a while, you actually develop them. And that, if you can't look at the young people today and say there's not something wrong that's been caused by their nurture rather than their physiology.
We'll get back to that in a second, but let's just talk very briefly on the pharmaceutical industry. It's almost built on the idea that depression can be treated with pills. Do you think this is a fallacy?
Oh, everyone wants a quick fix of a pill, but here's what's really frustrating. People with genuine recurring pain can't get Panadol over the counter anymore because of a terrible decision by the Liberal government. But you can get any manner of these pills for psychological conditions. It's almost encouraged, this pill-popping generation, but never for the things you need them for. Always for the things that are profitable and have no end date. So things like depression, they get you on them for life. It's a lifelong problem. Whereas it doesn't solve anything, but they make money off you forever. And it's a similar problem with the trans culture where they get kids hooked on medications for their entire lives, and it's not good for anybody.